Welcome back, everybody. BJ here from BJ Drinks Beer, and today I'm going to be trying out a series of beers from Farm Truck Brewing. I believe these are the anniversary beers. Yes, these are all of their previous anniversary releases, and they're all different styles, which I like. A lot of breweries, when they do anniversary releases, they always stick to the same style. I like it that these are all different styles, and hopefully, I've had a couple of anniversary beers that weren't as good as I would expect from the brewery, but I've had a couple, that absolutely blew me away. So we'll see where these lie. The first one, okay, all right. So this one is an 8.53% Imperial Hoppy Ale, and it's called One Long Strange Trip. What a long, strange trip it's been. This beer is a celebration of 1 year of FTB. Oh, Farm Truck Brewing. We packaged this one full of the finest American hops. Cheers to 1 year. All right. The entire can. Oop, trying not to pour a full glass because I want to rinse out the glass and use the same glass for every beer. And I want to, retain, let's just say, starting out with an 8.53%. So I'm not trying to get absolutely hammered. We'll see how that goes. Get a light behind this one. Doesn't look like it's got much haze to it, but it might have a little bit going on. Okay, yeah. A little bit of haze to it there. Not an IPA. It's a hoppy ale. At least that's what it said, hoppy ale. Imperial hoppy ale. All right. On the notes. Uh, okay. Definitely comes off as being very Citra forward. It's for my protection as well as yours. No, it's just this is the best spot I have in my apartment. This is where it makes sense. I hope I never have to use it. Maybe I'll bring it to one of the shows. On the nose? Yeah, yeah. It really just comes off like a very Citra forward double IPA. Not picking up a little bit of dankness in there, some bitterness. Yeah, I guess for an Imperial Hoppy Ale, what else would I expect it to smell like, right? If they're using Citra hops, if they're using Mosaic, I mean, it's going to smell like this, right? Yeah, yeah, just citrus notes and dankness in there. That's really all I'm getting. Let's give it a try. Ooh, okay. Wow, this one is very interesting. For not being an IPA, it definitely comes off. Well, I mean, I guess technically Imperial Hoppy Ale. It's similar enough, but they're not calling it an IPA. Regardless, though, it definitely comes off up front. It has the feel of like maybe all citra everything by other half. Very citrusy, very, a little bit of sweetness up front. But then it doesn't drop into any kind of dankness. It just kind of smooths out in the back end. Yeah, a little bit of booziness up front, but you don't get the burn. Like I said, everything fades out. Really weird. Yeah, it's like Yeah, it's like a dry IPA with very little hop character in the back end. Um, no, virtually no sweetness up front. I'm guessing this is hopped with Citra and Mosaic. I know they don't provide that information, but I mean that's what it. Maybe there's something else in there, but I'm definitely gonna say at least Citra and Mosaic. Almost kind of comes off like a watered down screwdriver. Um, but yeah, you get the citrusy notes, but none of the sweetness of the orange flavor or the citrus flavor. A little bit of dankness in there. Um, Very light on the palate, very smooth, very easy drinking. It smooths out nicely. My problem is that just that first initial taste, that booziness on that first taste is not it kind of it's not that it's off-putting, it just kind of it's abrupt. You don't expect it. Yeah, I mean, I could see this is one that I couldn't see myself uh really buying a four pack of and having something like this at home, but I could see myself if I was out really enjoying this. And I don't know what the difference is. Maybe just on tap, the difference between it being in the can and on tap, it would be enough. But yeah, I feel like this on tap this would really pop. I'm gonna have to get over there at some point and see if they have this so I can give it a try on tap. But if not, no big deal. Every time I go there, I always find something amazing. Last time it was, I believe it was a Raquel Pilsner, or no, 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 New Zealand. Yeah, I think it was a New Zealand Pilsner. I don't know if that Raquel in it, but regardless, yeah, every time I go to Farm Truck, there's always something that blows me away. Yeah, the sharp booziness up front is definitely bringing it down a little bit in my eyes. Definitely enough flavor to support, so it's not just straight booziness. There's enough, to balance it out. But yeah, it's just weird with nothing on the back end. It just totally smooths out, and you would expect some kind of bitterness or something. The sweetness, or well, I guess not the sweetest, but yeah, you would expect something. I don't know. Let me get another little bit of this. Sure. And I'll save that for later. All right. If you're enjoying this video or finding it helpful or informative, why don't you go ahead and drop a like? It helps with the algorithm and it makes me smile. While you're at it, why don't you give me a follow? My name is BJ Drinks Beer and I'm on Instagram and YouTube. If you've had this one or anything else from Farm Truck, why don't you go ahead and drop a little something in the comments and tell me what you thought about it. This one sounds good, sounds interesting, maybe it's something you might want to try, maybe you have some questions. Why don't you go ahead and leave them in the comments? If you would like to find this one, we do not currently have it at Joe Canals in Marlton. But if you're in the area of Joe Canals in Marlton, you're only about 6 or 7 miles away from Farm Truck Brewery. So go there. And of course, there's a couple locations now. Um, and I'm sure, I don't know, I've only been to the original location, so I don't know what they might have in the to-go fridge. But either way, go ahead and get yourself out to Farm Truck. It's an amazing experience. Um, no matter, I'm sure all the locations are amazing. But I've only been to the one, like I said. Anyway, rating. Yeah, like I said, if I was out and got this, I think I would love it. But as it is from the can, I'm gonna give it a 3.75 out of 5. Not that I had a ton of expectations about this one, but it's I don't know, it's kind of on the nose. You get, you have an idea what it is, you taste it, and halfway through the ship, you're still sure you know what this is, and then it takes a turn, and it's, wait, where are the hops? What happened to the back end? Um, yeah, with maybe a hint of sweetness up front and maybe a little bit of bitterness in the back end, this would be an excellent beer. Like I said, it reminds me a little bit of like, say, All Citra Everything by Other Half, or other like very Citra forward, heavily oated um, double IPAs. But yeah, 3.75 out of 5. I guess that's where I plug Farm Truck, but since all of these beers are Farm Truck, I guess I can not do that right now. Um, yeah, this is, oh man, I don't know if I'm trying to get it done and move on, and I have a burp coming. We'll see how it goes after that. But this is, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of this to drink for, I mean, it's pretty high ABV. That's only drank maybe about half the can. All right, so far, not off to a bad start. Better than last week. Was it last week or the week before or the stream before? I don't know. I don't know. A couple streams ago, maybe it was last stream. I had a bunch of stuff I just straight up didn't like. But yeah, this is we're off to a little bit better of a start, and don't make me get up and see what's going on out there. Okay. All right. Still have to burp. See if I can wiggle it loose. No, it's not coming. Oh, yeah, it's not coming. Yeah, after, okay, I would imagine just this is the way it's trending. Once this warms up a little bit, it's not going to be very good. Uh, 'Cause as it has started to warm up, maybe it's just as the taste buds have acclimated a little bit. That's what happened, but I'm pretty sure it's more so the temperature. So I'm going to burp. Ooh. Why did that taste like Doritos? I haven't had Doritos in weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and pour all of this into another glass and put it in the fridge, and then rinse this. And you don't need a step by step of what I'm going to do, but you're getting a step by step of what I'm going to do. Pour that into another glass, rinse, get the other beer, put that beer there, and cool. Yeah, so I have a game plan. Um, it all depends on me finishing that. One more tiny little sip. Like it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's just that sharp little hint. It's a sharp hint of booziness. It's not like it's got a shot of vodka in it. It's just like the citrus flavor mixed with the dankness, mixed with the booziness up front. Just it's a little too abrupt. I don't know. I'll shut up about this one. Uh, there we go. All right. So I will do everything I just said I was gonna do, and I'll be back in a minute or two. I was muted. I was laughing about pausing it right at the drop. Um, so up next we have a double IPA coming in at 8.71%. Two long strange trips. Like the like Saved by the Bell background on this one. This one we're rocking with just like a cosmic purple kind of, you know. This one, I look at this can and I'm like, when I wake up in the morning, blah 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 blah. So two long strange trips. This beer is a celebration of 2 years of FTB. Why do I forget what that is? This beer is a celebration of 2 years of Farm Truck Brewing. We packed this one full of the finest New Zealand hops. Cheers to 2 years. All right, just a double IPA, no particular style. So, New Zealand hops. It depends on what New Zealand hops. They do have a lot of variation. There are some that come off as very dank and earthy, and there are some that are very sweet and fruity. So, that's pretty vague saying New England hop, or sorry, New Zealand hop. But we'll see. Can here. It's alright, 'cause I'm sitting by the bed. Oh, get a light behind that. This one looks like it's got a little bit of haze to it, maybe a little bit more than the last one. Well, maybe about the same as the last one. On the nose. Again, very citrusy, a little bit of dankness in there. Okay. Definitely, this one, there's a lot more sweetness in the aroma of this one. Whoa. Oh, by the way, let me take this opportunity to show off my way too expensive but super cool farm truck coasters. They're like rubber or whatever, and I don't know, so much better than paper coasters. You spill on them and they're, you're fine. You wipe them off and they're not ruined. Uh, I paid way too much money for them, but I think I would think more breweries would make the. I mean, because they got to be more expensive to make, but I think more breweries would do it and charge like a couple bucks rather than having the free paper ones, and everyone would be happy. I don't know. I guess it's just an expense that most breweries don't want to deal with, but Farm Truck just has money to throw around like that, so I like them. But like I said, I spent way too much money for them. I think they were like 15 bucks or 10 bucks or something like that. Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, like a bubblegum sweetness up front. I'm assuming, yeah. So this one has probably got a little bit of Nelson Sauvin. Um, and when I think New Zealand, I think Rawaka, which I could see that. And maybe Raquel, but it doesn't have the earthiness on the back end that I'm used to with Raquel. So yeah, I'm thinking Rawaka and Nelson Sauvin. I know if you like don't know like anything about beer, you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say that. But Nelson Sauvin, it provides like a kind of a white grape kind of flavor, like a wine grape with a little bit of sweetness in there. And the Rawaka, if I remember correctly, has like a jammy kind of flavor to it. Anyway, I'll shut up now and try this beer. Let's let's give it a try. Very, very similar to the previous one. Difference being there's a little bit more sweetness up front. Uh, it's got to be Nelson Sauvin that I'm tasting for the source of the sweetness. Not very bitter on the back end. A lot thicker on the palate than the previous beer. Um, get out of here, little gnat. Um, yeah, a lot thicker on the palate. Not quite as easy drinking despite the sweetness. Still got that booziness up front. Very sharp, abrupt booziness that like at, in this one it kind of cuts through the sweetness and the sweetness does balance it out, but it is like just very in your face up uh in the front. Yeah, honestly, not drastically different from one long strange trip. Only differences being like that hint of sweetness up front and a little bit of bitterness on the back end. Uh, I guess they just kind of took the original recipe and were like, all right, let's substitute in a couple hops here and call it a day. Because it's similar enough. Uh, again, I would love to know what this is hopped with. Maybe I can, maybe I can put my monocle on and no, no, that's not what a monocle is. Never mind. Uh, farm truck, one long strange trip, hops. Well, that's weird. Google says it's a 9.23 percenter. Good old AI. Let's see what Untapped says. Here we go. Citra, Eldorado, Mosaic, and Strata. Okay, so I said Citra and Mosaic and something else. So I was kind of right on that one. Let's look into two long strange trips. I don't think it's going to be drastically different. Okay, here we go. Cohea Nelson. So I was right on the Nelson, and even though it might not be the same version of Nelson. Matweka. Yeah, I was going to say Matweka. Nectaron and Rawaka. Okay, so I was half right. A little bit more than half right on that one. Um, but yeah, similar enough, even though I don't think there are any crossover hops in both of them. Still very similar. And again, just not a lot of back end bitterness there. Um, like it's got bitterness to it, but it doesn't stay with you. The dankness doesn't stay with you. It doesn't keep you coming back for another sip. If anything, the booziness up front is what's doing that, is what's bringing you back for another sip. Uh, but yeah, again, this one's thicker on the palate. This one is a little meatier, uh, and a little sweeter. That's it. I want a refund. Sticking to my glasses. This farm truck glass that I paid a reasonable amount of money for. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip. all of the promo stuff because if I do edit this one out into its own video, I'm just going to do that at some point anyway. So I'm just gonna film that by itself at some point. So yeah, rating. I got to burp again. Why is it every time I'm about to rate the beer? Rating. Yeah, while slightly different than the previous, the One Long Strange Trip, uh similar enough. Yeah, it's got its subtle differences in the body and the sweetness, but still it has that common thread of the sharp booziness coming through. And yeah, I'm just like the last one, I'm also going to give this one a 3.75 out of 5. Uh, a little easier on the booziness. I'll sacrifice a couple points of ABV if it doesn't have to like have that sharp booziness to it. But also like there was minimal sweetness here, but it wasn't enough to really mask the booziness. And it's just really weird with the lack of bitterness in the back end. Like I would say this one, I'm not about to go and look up the IBUs, but yeah, this one just doesn't have a lot of there's nothing in the back end. Everything just falls off. It's really weird. Again, and this is also one that I would if I had at the brewery on tap, I would absolutely love it, but canned it just kind of loses something. Yeah, it all comes together nicely, but then it just kind of falls off. Even even as as the taste buds acclimate and it warms up a little bit, like I'm not really getting any more from it, you know? So I guess I'll go ahead and finish this one and do the whole dump this, switch up, grab the other. All right, so I will be right back. Uh, Moving right along, we have three long strange trips. This one is a 5% pale lager, rocking the old National League logo. Grown in the Garden State, Year 3. 3 long strange trips. This lager is a celebration of 3 years of farm truck brewing. We packed this one with Saaz and Cascade. Cheers to 3 years. Okay, so an interesting change of pace going from the higher ABV hoppy ale to the higher ABV double IPA, dropping it down to a 5 for this lager. Saaz and Cascade, so hopefully with that Cascade, it's going to have a little bit of back end bitterness to it because I love it when a lager has that. But with the Saaz, that's the hop that they use for, Peroni and Stella, uh, and all those Czech Pilsners and such. So should be an interesting combination. Did I already do this? I already did this. All right. As you can see, it's a lager. You wouldn't expect it to be very hazy. Pretty transparent on the nose. Yeah, not much different than what you would expect from any typical lager. Sweet breadiness up front, no sense of any bitterness or earthiness or anything. Just smooth, clean. Let's give it a try. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. At first, I got the hot bitterness, and then the sweet breadiness that you would expect from a lager. It was a little bit of a delay, I guess there. Very light, very easy drinking. Um, You do get a little bit of back end bitterness from the sauce, but it just kind of balances out the sweetness. It doesn't stand out, doesn't dry you out, doesn't keep you coming back for more. Like the bitterness, I mean, you're still left with a very sweet finish after the sip. The bitterness just kind of dulls it down a little bit. Ooh, yeah, very straightforward. I- Very interesting change of pace to go from this hoppy ale to this double IPA, and then just a pretty standard lager. I mean, and when I say a pretty standard lager, like this isn't a girlfriend beer. Like this isn't one where, you know, a guy brings his girlfriend to a brewery and he's getting IPAs and she's like, "Well, what do you have that tastes like a Miller Lite?" This isn't one of those situations because this like doesn't really, I guess it does to a certain extent have that domestic appeal, but I would think that there's a little too much back end bitterness in there to really appeal to someone who drinks a Miller Lite or something along those lines. So it's a very craft lager, as opposed to a craft lager that's masquerading or that's trying to be a domestic. Like this one, it's I, I, how do I put it? I would think not everyone would like this, um, who doesn't drink craft, but craft drinkers, this is right up their alley. Yeah, very tasty. That sweet breadiness up front is balanced out perfectly in the middle and back by the subtle bitterness. Just kind of tones it down a little bit. Yeah, I would crush a 4 pack of these no problem, and then probably go back for more. Again, I know I've said this for the last 2 beers that this is one that I would really have to try at the brewery on tap to really appreciate. But this one, as is, I am digging a lot more than the previous two. Maybe it's just me. I have been drinking a lot more lagers nowadays, a lot more pilsners, a lot lower ABV stuff. I can still appreciate the higher ABV stuff, but uh, you know, put it this way. If I'm going to be on stream throwing back beers, I'd rather them be lighter beers. I don't want to throw back 8%ers all night on a stream. Um, because I want to be able to remember stuff. Yeah, super crushable. It's got the right amount of flavor intensity. Uh, Excellent flavor. Let's rate it. Rating. I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Uh, the flavor just really pops. It's very, very balanced. You start out with that sweet breadiness, and then, it fades into that subtle bitterness, that subtle earthiness, and balances out very nicely. Um, Very crushable. If I was going out to a brewery, I would definitely want to choose this and have like two or three of them over, uh, big 8%er, and maybe having one and being like, all right, I gotta do something else. But yeah, so the redrinkability is there. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. All right. I'm going to take a couple seconds to chill with this one and do the whole dump this out, switch it up routine. Really enjoy this one. The With these, I think they're kind of experimenting and just kind of going for something and just seeing how it works out. With this one, I think it's something that's tried and true. Just just a matter of using a different hop here or there than you would typically use and getting a whole different beer out of it. Because yeah, this isn't too different than your typical lager, but where it is different is the flavor just pops and it is perfectly balanced throughout this sit. Got one more for you. Um, don't remember what style this was, but it's not a typical style. It's not something that you ever see out there on shelves at liquor stores. But at the moment, I cannot remember for the life of me what the style was. But we will find out in just a moment. Next up, we have four long, strange trips. Four long, strange trips is a 6.84%. Bleh. Yeah, this stuff's starting to kick in. Four long, strange trips is a 6.84% hop saturated raw ale, whatever that means. Give you a look here. Interesting can art. I'm loving the themes. You know, you go from cosmic purple to Saved by the Bell to Major League Baseball over here to summer camp. Yeah. Welcome to Camp Farm Truck. Yeah. Interesting. See what we got here. Cheers to 4 amazing years of Farm Truck. For years of brewing, trial and error, subtle tweaks, and massive changes have led to this, our highest level of hop saturation we've ever achieved. After we pummeled this one with Citra and Mosaic, we threw in an irresponsible amount of Peterine. Wow. All right. Well, at least I know what I'm in for now. Hop saturated raw ale. In the words of the late great old dirty bastard, ooh baby, I like it raw. Oh yeah, had to spill sometime. I'll clean that up later. All right, I'll get a look. Oh my God, I'm already like picking up like hop aromas jumping out of the glass. I'm getting bitterness and dankness from here. That's crazy. A little bit of haze to it. Yeah, it's pretty cloudy actually. Sorry, that one snuck out on the news. Yeah, hot bomb, absolute hot bomb. Uh, so much dankness. I'm picking up the Citra, I'm picking up the Mosaic. There's yeah, another hint of sweetness that's not quite the Citra, but yeah, that's all I'm getting is a hot bitterness. Whew. All right, here we go. Let's give it a try. Yeah, absolute hot bomb. No kind of like sweetness on the front end or anything. You get that subtle citrusy note, but otherwise it's just hops on hops on hops. Um, yeah, definitely dry on the back end. Definitely keeps you coming back for more. Uh, ah, it's like it doesn't have a lot of maltiness to it at all. So it's just kind of like loose hops, like loose. How do I describe this? With a West Coast IPA, or at least an American IPA, whatever, you have a little bit of a malty backbone to kind of bring it together. Uh, this is not brought together. It's just loose hops. That probably doesn't make any sense to you. But so much bitterness, so much dankness, so much earthiness, a little bit of citrus, and honestly nothing else. Thin on the palate. Mm, not even thin on the palate. Yeah, just oh man, this has got a lot going on in this one. It's gonna take me a long time to finish this one, I'll tell you that. Uh, You gotta really like IBUs to like this one. It's almost like it reminds me a little bit of 10, 15 years ago in the craft beer scene when everyone was competing to get the most IBUs in a bottle. Um, it reminds me of that, except the common thread with all those beers is they had a lot more maltiness to bring it all together. This one, I don't know, this one is just not coming together well. Mm, yeah, that burp didn't taste good. I mean, I guess you know what? This is going to be one of those situations where like my initial reaction is one thing, but then like as the taste buds acclimate, as it gets a little bit more up to temperature, it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know how it's going to be different, but I have a feeling it is one of those situations. So I'll pour a little more and stall for a couple minutes while this warms up. Ah, man, yeah. It's like honestly, it's like sensory overload on the taste buds. Um, let me give it a little bit more time for the taste buds to acclimate and figure out what's going on here. And again, this is one where I think it's a clean sweep. On tap, I would definitely enjoy this, but it's a different experience in the can. Yeah, there's like no relief from the dryness, from the dankness. The only relief you get whatsoever is up front, and that's the subtle citrus notes. Yeah, it's just too much. All right, I guess I don't really have to keep going with this one. I can keep it short. Rating. I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. What up, Keith? I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. There's just no relief from all that dankness and bitterness on the back end, and I get it's a hop saturated raw ale, like um, fly. Yeah, I get it. Like that's what it is. It's a hop saturated raw ale, but like, excuse me, there's no relief. There's no like I want to like chug a bottle of water after drinking this beer. Um, yeah, I don't mind the dankness. I don't mind the dryness, the bitterness. I don't mind it. My problem is there's nothing else. It's a one note thing. It's just again all about how many IBUs can we fit into one can. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Oh man. Ah. So I will go ahead and what am I doing here? That's what I was trying to do. Um. All right. I've got it figured out. I just need a minute. Be right back. All right. Sorry to keep you waiting. I had to transfer a beer to a glass and rinse another glass, and it was crazy. Um, but yeah, so that was my review of all four of Farm Truck Brewery's brewings. Four. Let me try to say that again. So yeah, that was my review of all four of Farm Truck Brewing's Long Strange Trips, their anniversary beers. It's pretty cool that they re-release their anniversary, all of the anniversary beers. Uh, I don't know if they do it every anniversary, but that's pretty cool that they re-released the previous ones. I guess they're coming up on their anniversary. Uh, that would be my assumption. Not entirely sure. Haven't really looked into it. I guess, I should have done some research. But this is obviously number three, the uh, the MLB over there. Actually, yeah, let me just wanna. I'm gonna line them up. No, that goes that way. Get this out of the way. Yeah, I'll line them up to do my promos, and then I'll be out. What's my line? If you're that, if you're enjoying this video or finding it helpful or informative, why don't you go ahead and drop a like? It helps with the algorithm and it makes me smile. While you're at it, why don't you give me a follow? My name is BJ Drinks Beer, and I'm on Instagram and YouTube. If you've had this one, sorry. If you've had any of these or anything from Farm Truck Brewing, why don't you go ahead and leave a little something in the comments and tell me what you thought about it. If any of these sounds good, sound interesting, maybe it's something you might want to try, maybe you have some questions, why don't you go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you would like to find these, we don't have any of these at Joe Canals in Marlton, but we do have a couple other beers from Farm Truck at Joe Canals in Marlton that are excellent. We have a Summer Kolsch, we have a double IPA. There's a fly buzzing around. Get out of here. I got him. Where'd he go? Not in my beer? Cool. Um, yeah, we have a couple good beers from Farm Truck at Joe Canals in Marlton. We do not have any of these, however. These, I'm sure if you go over to the brewery in Medford, New Jersey, or either of their other locations, I'm sure either. Yeah, they have two other locations now, I believe. I don't know. I should really do my research, right? Yeah, we don't have them in Joe Canals in Marlton, but we do have stuff from Farm Truck. Uh, but if you haven't had anything from Farm Truck, I definitely recommend you check out some of what they do. Their IPAs are definitely next level, and their lagers and pilsners are very, very good. Don't think I've had any of their dark stuff yet, or any sours, but you know, I'll keep an eye out. Well, that's all I've got for this time. Until next time, cheers. But stick around. I'm just hanging out drinking a beer now. Oh. Uh, just hanging out, having a beer. And maybe the rest of those other ones. I guess I should go grab those. I'll go grab those. I just want to say I'm not drinking all of these. Uh, I may finish this one. I may take a couple sips from some of the other ones, but yeah, this is too much. I'm already like have too much liquid in me. It was just more about the shot. But you can actually see like lined up. So this is the Imperial Ale. This is the IPA, the double IPA. This is the lager, and this is the hop saturated raw ale. You can see the variation in color. They're pretty, there's a lot of condensation on three of the four of these glasses, so you can't really, test the opacity, although, with no condensation, you can, but this is a lager, so, you would expect it to be clear anyway. But, uh, but yeah, it's just interesting to see the variation here. Um, I really don't want to drink these other three. And look, there's so much. I have so much beer in front of me that I'm not gonna drink. Ugh. This is really good though. I'm gonna see if we can get this. This is amazing. Ugh. Yeah, this is like I'm like sad about this. I don't want to drink this much. I don't know what I was getting myself into here. Ugh. It's still early. I'm gonna have to be at work for another 38 hours and 38 minutes. Is my math right? Yeah, wow, it was. Yeah. It was me just hanging out drinking a beer, and I turned it into me sitting here and like having a crisis about all the beer in front of me. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end the stream and have this crisis on my own. Uh, everybody have a great rest of your weekend. If you're not busy tomorrow, if you're not doing anything at 5 o'clock, over on BJ and DG Talk Wrestling, we have a live stream, and there's a lot to talk about because there was a big show that just ended, and some stuff happened. So yeah, if you're a wrestling fan or if you just can't get enough of me, go ahead and tune into that. But until then, guys, that's all I've got for this time. Until next time, cheers.